I don't want to be here. Just like you don't want to be here. But we were born here anyway. We were raised on these playgrounds anyway. So we may as well try to make this the best that we can. And so let's listen to the leader of the country for the past, what, 8, 9 years? And let's not forget that the Trudeau name is royalty, that the Clinton name is royalty, that the Trump name is royalty. Let's not think about history as something of the past, but something that we're living in right now. The Elizabethans who have ruled over Europe as queens and kings. It's just different names, it's just different labels. Yet these leaders are still ruling over us. They're the ruling class. So let's listen to what this guy's got to say about, you know, the future of the country. He is the leader. He has been the leader for the past 8 years. So let's listen to what he's got to say.
Immigration.
Right off the bat, we could see, what do we see? I'm going to rewind here. We see a dick and balls shot. So, like, it's a smiling, beautiful face, right? But let's go back. Dick and balls. Dick and balls right in your face. Justin Trudeau is showing his dick and balls right in front of your face. That's what he's doing. Subliminal messages? I think not. The message is right in front of your face, and it's a really rock hard one at that. So let's hear what this white guy, this royal white guy from a noble family, has to say about immigrants.
Immigration. Let's talk about it. In the last 2 years, our population has grown really fast, like baby boom fast, and increasingly.
So wait a second. Only in the past 2 years has he realized that the population would boom? I mean, you've been the leader for the past 8 years. Should you not have known the projections of what our population or what a sustainable population would look like? Or is that too much to ask for the leader of the country?
Bad actors like fake colleges and big chain corporations have been exploiting.
Fake actors and bad actors for people that are taking advantage of the immigrants. Interesting.
Exploiting our immigration system for their own interests. So we're doing something major. We're reducing the numbers of immigrants that will come to Canada for the next 3 years.
What? So wait a second. The number of immigrants coming into the country are too high. But they're being taken advantage of by bad actors, Canadian bad actors. And your answer is to just eliminate the immigrants. Instead of tackling the problem of the people taking advantage of the immigrants, you're attacking the immigrants. Jesus Christ, this guy is retarded. Because what if we were to use the metaphor of having a bully in school, right? So instead of dealing with the bully, you're just banning all the students? Look, as a first-generation immigrant to the country, my parents moved here legally, right? As business owners, as a working-class people, and people that wanted to make a better life for themselves. And I'm assuming most immigrants moving to the country have the same mentality. And your government really weaponized that for profit. And you're seeing that reality now take place, and you're seeing it in organizations that are manifesting themselves by taking advantage of these people. But instead of tackling that issue, you're just banning the people. So this is a special type of retarded. This is a special type of stupid. And these are the people that are in charge of the whole country? Jesus Christ. God help us.
Today, I'm going to let you in on what happened, where we made some mistakes, and why we're taking this big turn. There are two kinds of immigration in Canada. The one you probably think of most is permanent immigration, like when families come to Canada to settle and call it home. Every year, the government determines the right number of permanent residents that we want to admit. That's how it's been done for decades. But a plan that only talks about permanent immigration misses the other pathway, temporary immigration. Temporary residents are people who come to Canada for a limited time, like international students, temporary workers, and so on. They come to work a job.
Oops. What the hell? 1 second. Whoops. Okay.
Or go to school. When the job is done or when they finish their degree, most return home. Some apply to stay as permanent residents, but most return home. So back to this year's plan. Historically, Canada's annual immigration plan just looked at permanent residents. The number of temporary students and workers that we admitted each year was left to the demands of the economy. It was usually a small proportion of our population, so it's never been a part of the long-term immigration plan. But after the pandemic, our economy came roaring back quickly, and we needed a lot of workers fast.
Canada is in the middle of a huge labor shortage.
Temporary foreign workers became such a significant part of our workforce.
Let me just explain to you what he means by significant workforce and the need for workers, for labor. What he basically means is Tim Hortons cashiers and Home Depot workers that have no idea what lumber is, or any type of lumber, or water treated lumber, or any kind of thing with lumber. They have no idea. They just need a warm body with at least a warm temperature IQ to be a body on and to just walk around with their logo. That's what they need. That's exactly what they need. They don't need anything more. And if they're promising you anything more, it's a lie. But let me just let you know what that was.
That it'd be a mistake not to include them when we plan our immigration levels. So this year, we did exactly that for the first time. We laid out a plan that sets targets for both permanent and temporary residents. This way, we're getting the full breakdown of people coming into our country, so we can prepare the homes and infrastructure needed to support them. Like I said, immigration is based on demand. When we set our targets, we look at every province and territory. We ask the premiers, what are the gaps in your workforce? Is your population growing or getting older? We field calls from businesses, CEOs, economic experts, all sharing their thoughts on where we should set our targets.
We've had a chronic shortage of labor for the last decade. It is the #1 issue of all manufacturers across Canada. So we think there needs to be more, push the pedal to the floor to bring more people into Canada, because
Ontario is facing a generational labor shortage. 380,000 jobs are going unfilled.
It's no surprise that every sector has different wants and needs when it comes to immigration. But after the pandemic, they all came to us with the
I'm interested to know in how many of those jobs are actually quote unquote good jobs. Jobs that this man or the man before him would actually work, or that they would commit their sons or their nephews or their daughters to work. I guarantee you, the work isn't good work. It is ass work. It is shit ass work. Okay? And it will pay shit ass.
same message. After 2 years with closed borders, we need more people, more workers, fast. So we brought in more workers, and it was the right choice. It worked. Our economy grew. Restaurants and stores reopened, businesses kept running, but most importantly, in spite of lots of economists' predictions, we avoided the worst-case scenario, a recession. But some saw that as an opportunity to profit, to game the system. We've seen way too many large corporations doing this.
The government says the program has been used to get around hiring Canadian workers in some instances.
Far too many colleges and universities used international students to raise their bottom line.
I had a huge problem with this at Durham College. As a graduate from that school, I'm a graduate from multiple Canadian universities. That was one of them. And that happened in mid-COVID years, right? And around that time, the amount of foreign students was insanely high. Insanely high. And if you didn't realize that, you're just, you're just being a little crazy talk here. But what I'm assuming is that these kids, these international students, are being sold a dream. The Canadian dream, the American dream, the dream for a better future. But what they don't actually realize is that they're getting subpar education at 3x the cost of tuition and living expenses. So what you have are people in 3x the debt to the country. And so they have to repay that debt by working in our economy for next to slave wages. And I will literally I just told you how it is. That's exactly what's going on right now. And none of these people can tell me otherwise.
Diploma equivalent of puppy mills that are just churning out diplomas. There is fraud and abuse, and it needs to end.
Because they could charge these students tens of thousands of dollars more for the same degree. And then there are really bad actors who outright exploit people, who target vulnerable immigrants with promises of jobs, diplomas, and easy pathways to citizenship, promises that would never come true. Looking back, when the post-pandemic boom cooled and businesses no longer needed the additional labor help, as a federal team, we could have acted quicker and turned off the taps faster. Now, it is time to make the adjustments to stabilize the immigration system that we need and get it working right for Canadians.
It's so funny. It is insanely funny that people at this level don't realize the simple concept of one extreme to the other extreme as a pendulum. Think about a pendulum swinging back and forth, back and forth. And you're going from one extreme, the extreme that people are taking advantage of immigration, there are too many immigrants, to outright banning all of the immigrants. You are literally going from one extreme to the other extreme. Where have we gone with this common sense? The lack of common sense and the emotions that are dictating our leaders' decisions is insane. And as a concerned citizen, as a tax-paying citizen, I'm fucking worried. And you all should be too.
Immigration is primarily a federal job. We have the levers to rein it in, so we are.
This is a big change, a major cut to immigration, reducing permanent immigration levels by at least 20%.
A new string of measures to clamp down on temporary immigrants.
That means a decrease in international students, temporary foreign workers.
Canada's new immigration plan is straightforward. Lower the number of new immigrants coming into Canada, both temporary and permanent. We're prioritizing permanent.
What a stupid, idiotic thing. What a stupid idiot. What you don't need, it's not about the volume, it's about the quality of people. Bring in quality people. Bring in people that want to work here and have credentials to work here, to build something for themselves. And they have something under their belt to bring that value to us, as in to work in Canada. It's not about volume, it's about quality.
Residents with the skills we need, like healthcare workers for our hospitals and construction workers who will build more homes. And those temporary residents who are already in Canada, some will apply to stay in Canada as permanent residents. Since they're already here, established and working, the added pressure put on communities is very low. Or they'll leave Canada when their temporary residency expires, reducing our population. Some temporary residents may turn to our asylum system when their visa expires as a shortcut to stay in Canada. Those claims will be analyzed and processed, and if their claim fails, they'll be sent home. Between the amount of people coming and going, we'll effectively pause population growth for the next 2 years. Then from 2027 onwards, it'll balance out and slowly
Let
start
me get
increasing
this.
again.
Let me get this straight right now. You're not gonna be here for the next 2 years. You're kidding yourself that you're gonna be here for that time. And these policies are going to change when you leave. It's as simple as that.
At a sustainable pace. In fact, that gets us back to the population growth path we were on before the pandemic. This pause is going to give our economy and our communities the chance to catch up with things like our plan to build millions more homes. That's not stopping, but now we'll have a little more breathing room as we build. We'll see more corporations investing in Canadian workers and youth rather than relying on cheap foreign labor. Our cap on international students is already bringing rental prices down in big cities, and as we keep that cap in place, rents will keep coming down.
Yeah, well, I don't even think they were a part of the problem, because I don't know where you're from, but in Toronto, you have 10 international students living in a 3-bedroom apartment with their grandma and 6 cats. Okay? These people are all living in like a freaking camp in their house in the GTA. Okay? How about we start waking up to the reality and start losing ourselves from this fantasy land and talk about what's actually happening? It's like the Undercity. This guy's like Jace. You know, he lives in the upper city and he has no idea what's going on in the Undercity.
We're making the system work for Canadians and for newcomers, rather than for the big box stores, chain restaurants, immigration consultants, and sham colleges that exploit it. Immigration is a...
Okay, you know how you're gonna actually cause this change to happen? You bring it, you vet people, you vet immigrants that are coming into the country. You don't bring in all of these asylum seekers and these people that have like nothing to show for themselves or a family name for themselves, that they are reputable people. You vet people that are coming into the country so that they're qualified to come here, willing to work, to build a better life for themselves. And you don't ban them outright because people are taking advantage of them. Are you crazy? How about you start going after the same big box stores that you were saying were taking advantage and profiting off of them and making billions of dollars in profits, especially during COVID? These big box stores that are taking advantage of people that are making, what, $15 an hour? Who is our real enemy? Is our real enemy the immigrant making $15 an hour? Or is it the dude, the Bill Gates that's making $1.5 billion, or that Canadian dollar store family that own all of the dollar stores in the country? Open your mind. Tackle the real problems. Why do you think you lost the trust of the Canadians and the people? Because you're really disconnected as to what's going on. So I hope this is really informative. I hope you like and subscribe and share. And I'm going to continue like really digging deep, fingernail deep into holding people accountable and not letting my life be wasted. So thanks for watching. Take it easy, boys and girls.